Hey, you guys. Good evening, good morning, whatever time of the day that you are watching this. You guys are here for a treat. You guys have been begging for more interviews, and I have had this meeting on the books for a minute since 2023. And with all the craziness that's gone down, we have finally been able to solidify this date. Thank you so much for your patience. But you guys, I have the cleaning business mentor. I'm sure you guys seen her on Clubhouse, on Instagram. She is all over the place. I know her from others, so this is our first time actually being able to chat with one another. I have Carolyn. She also owns a very successful cleaning business, Spotless Cleaning, because we're just here to just chat, right? This is a conversation amongst cleaning business owners, just chatting, trying to hear a story, and then I want her to share some tips and tricks and strategies that has helped her to be successful. I've had a chance to hear your story of your past, and I love that because I'm very transparent about my past, and I feel like my story connects more with others than just teaching the business. I think it just shows hope,
For sure.
like that they could come from a past to where they think that there's no way out of this. And like there's nothing that I can create that I could be proud of or that could make my name proud. I mean, my past has been like the catapult that has helped me to become who I am. And I used to be ashamed of it, but now I'm not. And the more I share it, the more I know that it connects and helps people that are in very similar scenarios. So, you guys, I have Miss Carolyn here, and we're just going to chat. I'm going to have a nice little interview, and I hope that you guys get some nuggets. Make sure that you guys follow her. I'm going to make sure to put her links in this video so that way you guys can know how to get in contact with her. But you guys are in for a treat, so just stay tuned. All right.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm a very big fan of yours. When I first started transitioning from the cleaning business to the coaching space, you're actually somebody that I was looking toward and
Aw.
getting ideas. So I'm very humbled to be a part of your program. And I look really forward to speaking to the audience and, yeah, just sharing a little bit about myself.
Awesome, I love it. Is that so awesome? Because first of all, it's a very tight community of, like, cleaning business coaches, right? And we can get really busy and involved in what we're doing that you guys have a really tight, close connect community, you and AJ, and you guys, have this community that you guys have developed. But it's like, I love that I was able to connect with you and it was like no weirdness. It was like, no, of
Oh,
course.
yeah, no,
You
for
know what I mean?
sure.
Because like sometimes people can become territorial and I'm like, girl, like, I love your story. Like, you're so dope. And you're like, no, Jazz, I've been following you too. It's such an
Yeah.
amazing, like, a barrier breakdown because some people can have this idea of, like, there's, like,
Mhm.
this feud or it's like, "Oh,
You know, it we do have that, but it is there. I've seen it with other like in this space with certain people. So
really?"
yeah, so I have gotten like the cold shoulder and stuff like that. But we're not like that. Like anyone that we ever talk to, like you're talking about the group of cleaning business mentors that I do Clubhouse with and YouTube,
Yeah,
AJ, Mila, like we're so open and like amongst ourselves and others, like to collaborate. So it's so
yeah,
awesome. Like we definitely have to have you come on as a guest for
yeah,
sure. Because yeah, we just love like working with other people and connecting and networking. And that's how we're able to, get our brand out there and we're not competitive whatsoever. Um, because of the fact that, like as you mentioned, each one of our stories is going to sit with somebody different.
yes,
So
very
not
true.
everyone is going to relate to Carol, not everyone's going to relate to AJ, but somebody listening across each other's channels and platforms, someone's going to be like, you know what? I relate to her,
Yeah,
or
that's so
maybe I
true.
relate to her even more. And then it's like, so we're kind of like, yeah, open to, collaborating with people. And I'm also grateful for you for being so open to collaborate also, because it can be weird. Like sometimes it'll be like, oh, I don't want to bring that person on here but it's not what it's about. It's what we are like the core of our business is to, share information with people.
Right. That's very true. It's kinda like once we decided to add that title, I guess, of a mentor or a coach, that means that we now accepted the responsibility and the accountability to now we're here to share information. Like we can take our experiences, we can take every good thing we done, every bad thing we done, and then we can provide that information to others so that way they could have a leg up or they could start a little bit further out than we did, right? 'Cause I definitely had a lot of more hurdles and bumps in the road in my,
Right.
my first starting, right? Oh my goodness, I made so many mistakes, but it's like now that we're a mentor, I'm here to share that information. So I
Right.
love it. So
And
I
it's so
would,
important.
yeah, no, very important because I think sometimes online people only share the good stuff. And I'll be the first one to be like, look, it's not all cookies and ice cream over here.
Mhm.
It does take hard work. Now, I always say that it's not easy, but it's doable. Like, if you
Yes.
can commit to it, if you can have a level of discipline and just determination and creating that atmosphere and changing your mindset, you can accomplish anything you want, right? But you are going to have those hurdle moments. Even with you, Carol can give you the whole blueprint, but you're still going to have your own set of learning
Oh, for
challenges.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes people be like, hey, here it is, start it up. And it's just boom, six figures in the bank tomorrow. It doesn't
Yeah.
quite work like that,
No,
right?
I wish it did.
I wish it did, right? But I would love for you to tell us how you got started in this
Sure.
business.
For sure. So, as Jasmine mentioned earlier in the video, I do have a criminal background. So I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. Didn't have like the best upbringing. Wasn't raised around like the best people. So I picked up on a lot of bad habits, like as a young child, and it followed me into my teen years, into my young adult years. So essentially, I ended up going to prison for about a year and a half for selling drugs.
Mm,
And that's actually how I was supporting myself for about like, I want to say like 7 years at that time. So I feel like, 7 years
yeah,
was a long time. So it eventually caught up to me. But when I got out, or actually when I was in there, I already knew how hard it was going to be to find a job coming out.
yeah,
So I'm like, okay, I messed up here. What am I gonna do? Because I had like a decent corporate job at the time, I think, if I remember correctly. But when I was in there, I was trying to plan my future, and I thought, let me go to school, let me finish college. So
mm-hmm,
I ended up doing that. But even during the process of coming out, going to school, I was now having really, really, really bad anxiety with the jobs that I was in because they were so low level, even though I
yeah,
was so smart and had really good jobs prior to all of this. With a record, it's very, very hard to get employed. Um, Mostly, I think it's like a fear of like trying to communicate that to somebody,
yeah,
but so it's that. And then also, obviously having a record. So when I was in there, I was going to school, I came out, went to school, still didn't know what business I wanted to have, but I always wanted to be a business owner. So I ended up signing up for a master's degree because I still didn't know what I wanted to do in business. So I'm still going to school for business. And I was working for my mentor at the time. I had landed a customer service position with him, and I helped him move his business from one business to another.
okay,
So during that move, um, I had a comment made by one of his employees saying that I did such a good job organizing and cleaning and whatnot. At that time of my life, I was working on a business. I was working for him, but I was also working on a party planning business
okay,
that didn't work out very well because we're not in Vegas, right? Well, I'm
yeah,
thinking like we have a little Atlantic City, which is like a smaller version of Vegas, but there wasn't a demand for such kind of parties and stuff that we were trying to throw. So at that time, we were doing the move, and I had three people in 1 week tell me that I should open a cleaning business. So I've always loved cleaning. I love to organize. It is my form of exercise, stress relief,
mm-hmm,
have a little bit of OCD. And that week, and also just to backtrack, every Saturday I was cleaning my father's place of business since I was a child. So
okay,
$100 every weekend, I'd clean his facility in and out. And so someone at his job said something to me about it, about starting a cleaning business. So I went back to work on Monday. And I told my mentor who I was working for, I said, look, I want to chuck this party planning business because we've already wasted X amount of time and money. Nothing is happening. I think I want to open a cleaning business. And it was like, it was such a weird moment of my life because I had went to school this whole time for business. Always when I got asked what business do you want to open, didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
Opened up, well, I ran a business illegally for
That's
many years. I was good.
experience though.
It is experience. I gained so much experience from that.
Yes.
But still was like I knew I wanted to do stuff. I just had no sense of direction. And then it was like a light bulb went off. I was like, oh my God, I am good at cleaning. I've been told this my whole life. And we started a cleaning business. Within, I think that first week, we started working on it, got a website going, started to market, started my research, and that's kind of how I fell into it. And it solved a lot of my problems. Number one, I was extremely broke at the time.
Mhm.
Number two, I was going from crappy job to crappy job. I mean, like, I was waitressing at one point because I had no choice at that time. I was like just taking these really, really low level jobs where I knew I wasn't going to grow and I felt so stuck. So being able to, make a business not only brought me the income that I needed, but also gave me the freedom to like rebuild my life and not have to explain myself to
Yeah.
anybody for
Yeah.
sure.
I love that. So you started the cleaning business. Did you start it by yourself?
So I didn't. So I had my younger sister. She started the business with me. She was in high school at the time, which was
Okay.
really interesting working around her schedule. But we started the business together. We started cleaning homes. Within the first 12 months, her and I together brought in about 300, I think, in like $20,000 in overall revenue. The
Yes.
profit on that was probably like 50% to be honest, just because we had no cost other than
Yeah.
cleaning supplies and
Yeah.
gas and
Yeah.
fast food that we were
So you're
living
saying
on.
300,000.
Yeah,
Okay, so
300,
I wanna make sure that we put that comma.
320,000.
Make
Yeah.
sure you put that comma. Like, we don't wanna fastly bypass that, you know? It's so funny, I was having a conversation with my husband, and we were talking numbers about something, and I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be like, like 27 something." And, somebody walked by, they're like, "Oh, that's not a lot." And Ricky's like, "That's not a lot." He was like, they're like, "You don't have no, realization of money." He was like, and she means 27,000. So like when you get into like these higher number brackets, you just start saying the 300 without saying like
Yeah.
300,000. So I don't want people to bypass that. Like you guys, she did 300,000 her first year.
Yes.
And that is so amazing. Like you guys were out there grinding,
Oh
like
my god.
hustling
So
for real.
we literally, so again, we were broke. We literally lost each like separately each like 60 pounds
Oh,
within a year because we went from not being active to cleaning 6 7 days a week.
yeah.
And I stopped cleaning around month 8 actually, and we hired our first employee. So for the
Nice.
last 4 months of that year, what we did have um 2 people cleaning full time, but before that it was just me and my sister cleaning anything and everything
Yeah. Wasn't
that
turning
came
down
our way.
anything.
Oh yeah, no, we were cleaning stuff like that I would never ask anybody to clean now.
No, I remember that first year. I accepted everything. I remember my first post construction. Oh my goodness, I did so bad on that job. Like I was sweeping dust. Like
You
that is
you
like,
learn, but you learn.
but I learned take everything. That is so amazing. It's like complete life changing in 1 year.
For me, it was completely life changing. I went from having no money to having money to upgrading cars for me and my sister, for paying bills, just being able to like pay for day-to-day stuff. And I was just like
Yeah.
the whole time, I just remember we cleaned our first house and we made, I think, 150. It was the first clean ever. Like we never cleaned anyone's house before. We were practicing, watching videos. It
Yes.
was so funny. We actually brought like a literal pot and I brought like spices and like an orange. And I remember putting it on this lady's
On the stove.
stove because I had no idea what I was doing.
What do they think
But
you were doing with that?
yeah, now that I think about it, I'm like, how could I bring a pot to someone's home? But we made that first 150, um, and then we started to catch traction right away because we were on Google, we had the website, we were running
Yeah.
ads, and it was crazy. Like we would clean. So that 150 was like the first time we cleaned, but on average, the houses that we would clean would be about anywhere from 250 to $300
Mhm.
because they'd be like 3 beds, 3 baths, and we could do two in a day. So we
Nice.
were making $600 in cash every
Yeah.
single day at the end of the night. And I was just like, why wasn't I doing this? Why wasn't I selling
For those
clean?
past 7 years.
Built like something huge here. And I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, this is insane. I bartended in my life. I have done other stuff. And like just the satisfaction of getting that much money for making something look beautiful again and
Right.
actually like enjoying the cleaning process. It was like something went off in my head and I was like, this is it.
Yeah. One thing I love that you just said was that like you just like you did your research, you did some research, but like you just went out there like not knowing anything. I think one of the biggest hurdles that some of the newer students in the CO Clean Academy run against is that analysis paralysis. Like they want to have everything perfect to the T, I's dotted, T's crossed,
Hmm.
like every system. And I'm like, you guys, like, we provide a lot of different strategies and systems and SOPs for them to start with. But over time, you'll develop your own based upon those reoccurring issues or occurrences that happen. Like sometimes you just have to start
Yeah.
and then figure it out as you go because otherwise you'll continually just thinking that you have to make everything perfect to start. I'm like you. I went to the dollar store because I was flat broke too. I went to the dollar store. I grabbed a broom, a mop, some spick and span, and the small thing, right? The cheap stuff, right? Spick and span. And then I think I grabbed a small thing of Fabuloso and I would just put a little bit in there for the scent, but I needed the cheap stuff to last, okay?
Hmm.
And I just started, like, I cleaned my own house, and like I said, you had experience cleaning your dad's place weekly, but, like, that was it. I didn't know the right mannerisms or, like, I was collecting cash and Cash App and Venmo. I didn't know anything. What I did know, though, was that I was broke, I had kids, I was in a situation I need to get out, and I'm just gonna do the thing and figure it out as I go. So I love that because I speak to a lot of business owners and they have the same scenarios. But sometimes students will come into our programs and they want everything to be perfect to start.
Hmm.
Just start. What would you
Yeah, just
say
do
to
it.
that person?
I would say just start. Don't wait to ever learn or do anything. Like don't
Yeah.
wait a day, don't wait at all because everything that you put on hold, like you could have gotten a better at in a day, even if it's recording yourself on video or if it's cleaning. I say you have to definitely go through the experience of it to learn what to do and what not to do. And like Jasmine said, you can watch all the videos under the
Mhm.
sun, you can buy courses, you can buy booklets, you can have everything covered, and then life is going to come at you
Oh,
and throw you some kind of curveball
yeah, they
that you
do.
weren't expecting. Um, but with each new experience that you run into, you'll then know how to handle the situation. So I
Yeah.
welcome all of the challenges. Now I'm just like, okay, what's next? Because then I'll
Yeah.
know how to handle the situation the next go around.
Yeah. No, I love that you said that you welcome all the challenge because when you have that mindset already, then like you're managing your expectations. And sometimes we may start with unrealistic expectations, but if you expect to start and it not be perfect, then when things
Hmm.
are not perfect, then they may not, be crumbled down by so much
Exactly.
where you can actually manage that. I do that a lot with traffic. I'd be like, look here, Jasmine, you're already running late, girl. Don't get out here expecting that all the lanes is going to be clear. Like, go in there knowing you're going to hit some traffic. Okay. And I want you guys to do the same thing as starting your business, but don't let it delay you. I still got to get to where I got to go. I still got to get to point B and point C, but I'm not going to let knowing that there's traffic to stop me. Okay. So
Exactly.
you started hiring your first cleaners 8 months in. How many cleaners do you have now?
So we currently have 8 cleaners working full time. And then
Okay,
we do have
nice,
some contractors as well.
nice. So you do both
Yes, so we do
contractors
both.
and W-2.
Yeah, so we only did W-2 for the first, I want to say like 4 years. And
Okay,
then we started to get subcontractors for some of the commercial accounts because they were at night. And most of our
okay,
cleaners, they come from the residential side. And then it wasn't actually up until November the 1st that everybody I call them my cleaners, but they are subcontractors now.
Okay.
So as of November 1st, 2023, we've helped a number of our employees start their own businesses. So
Nice.
they work with us, and they
But
work for
separately.
us in a sense, but separate. Yeah.
I love that. That is so awesome. One of my cleaners that was with me since like my very, very first hire, Christine H. I'm not gonna say her last name, but I helped her to start her business as well because I mean she helped me make so much money and like
Hmm.
she was there with me when I knew nothing, like absolutely nothing. So right now you're currently servicing commercial and residential.
Yeah. So we're still a majority of commercial. I'm sorry, a majority residential, about like 80% to
Okay.
20% commercial. But this year, one of my main goals is to focus to build more on the commercial side.
Okay. Nice, 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 nice. And so you currently have a facility, an office, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how does that work? Because a lot of, I normally teach off of just straight remote where
Which I
cleaners,
love, by the way.
right? Less overhead, right? But just
Yeah.
to give people a glance, like what does that look like from somebody that actually owns and have their own office space?
For sure. So we do have an office space that we rent out. We mostly got it because we started to buy a lot of equipment.
Okay.
So we are a little bit south. We are in one of our service areas, but we're pretty south compared to where others were servicing. So we do have the office, and we got the office because mainly of all the supplies that we have, and we had a lot of company vehicles.
Nice.
So yeah, so we needed somewhere to park them where they weren't getting ticketed, but it does get expensive. So if you don't need an office, don't do it.
Don't get
It
but
can
you have
easily be anywhere from like $2,000 to, $6,000 a month, depending on the area that you're in. So if you can work remotely, like Jasmine said, I would say do it. I did it for the longest. I do it even still, like half of the time I'm not even here because
Mhm.
I have my setup at home.
Yeah.
But what I did do, and what would suggest to anybody just starting out is, don't worry about an office. Okay, it's not necessary necessary at all. If you're worried about keeping supplies somewhere because maybe you have different service locations, we rented out small storage units like in
Mhm.
different locations, and then the cleaners would have somewhere to pick up and drop off our stuff. That's when we had W-2 employees.
Right.
But the one of the perks of paying 1099 is that your contractors are responsible to hold all of their own supplies,
Yep.
as
That is
as
the
well as as well as
yeah,
buy their own supplies,
buy their
wash
own
their own
supplies.
rags, and get
Yes.
to work on your own. So now that leaves me with 0 storage units. Now, at the beginning of this year, 0 company vehicles other than the ones that I'm driving, and a lot less overhead.
I love it. I love it.
I
I
wish
mean,
I would
look
have done it sooner. I'll tell you, like I only did what I knew. Like what I was taught is what I
yeah.
did. And then from actually talking to other business owners such as yourself and just hearing all these ideas, and I'm like, you know what? Why not? Why
Yeah.
not save myself some money?
Yeah. No, of course. The name of the game is yes, making more money, but keeping it too. And we want to make sure that our ROI, because we can utilize those expenses in marketing, right? I always tell people like they're trying to figure out the infamous LLC. Everybody on social
Hmm.
media has everybody thinking that they have to have an LLC today, right? And I'm like, if you live in an area, because New York's LLCs are expensive, right? They're like
Hmm. Yeah, they are. They're
500.
like, yeah, it's expensive, about 500.
Yeah. Here in Dallas, they're about 300. So I'm like, look, get you a little DBA, okay? License, whatever it's called in your
Hmm.
in your state, an assumed name for under 30 bucks, okay? Put that other money towards your ads, like towards marketing. You can always get an
Hmm.
LLC later, but
For
we're talking
sure.
about the ROI in our business. I love it. Like I wish I could have my own office, right? I used to talk to my husband about it. I think of just the satisfaction of knowing that I'm a boss and I could get an office. And
And
crazy,
that's what
right?
it is. I think no, you're right. I'm so glad
It
that you say
is.
that because it is something in our heads. It's like, okay, well, if I have an office, I made it. That's not
Right.
necessarily true, right? Because I could have this office and be backed up on my rent.
Right. And
Bec-
having to sleep in the office.
exactly. But I'll
No.
tell you what, it's nice to have somewhere because it's difficult for me to work from home because I want to clean, I want to do laundry, I want to walk my dog,
Yeah.
I want to do the chores that my daughters didn't get to because they're in school. But I would say something that I learned from some of my friends is that you can go to working spaces,
Yeah.
co-working spaces, you can rent them, pay a monthly pass. And then something else that I was doing when we first started and we didn't have an office and I wasn't familiar with, what a working space was at the time was we would go and we would work in hotel lobbies.
Mm.
So me and
That's
my
a
sister
good
would
that's
go
a
to like
good little
we go to
that's a good
really
little
nice
hack
ones.
right there.
I would feel so bougie going in.
I know. I mean, I literally thought of the most bougiest hotel here in Dallas too. Like, you could
Yeah,
totally do that,
and they
and
had
nobody would question
Wi-Fi.
you.
No, nobody asked questions.
Free Wi-Fi. Yo, that's a
And
hack.
and then if it was later on in the evening, which most time it would be because she'd be coming out of school, like, I get us like a light dinner, I get to order a drink, and we're just sitting there like working on our business.
I love that. I've never thought about that. I'm gonna have to tell my friend about because she's kind of bougie like I am, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Look, like we got to go do this." I
And
super love
Starbucks.
that. Right? It's like you
Starbucks,
get your
yeah,
little
there's so many
cup.
options instead of paying for an office for sure.
Yeah. I think social media is a lot to blame about this. I'm gonna have to say it. That, they got some people brainwashed and thinking that, you see all these entrepreneurs on the gram showboating. They all got a Bentley or a G Wagon, right? They got all these cars and all these bags. Look, I don't own, let me double check. I don't own a designer. I love good leather. Now, my
Mhm.
good leather bags are expensive, but I don't own a designer bag. And we don't need all of those things to be
No.
successful. Like they lose
No, we
value the
don't.
moment you walk out the store.
So I used to buy crap like that before I was a business owner.
Right.
Right? That's like I would like if you see I have bags and stuff, but that was pre-business.
Right.
Now that I'm actually making money where like you get wiser, you're like, okay, where
Yeah.
can I do with this money? Like, are you kidding me? I don't want a bag. Like, I'd much rather put it to the business or buy some new
Yes.
type of equipment to film with or something that's gonna help me make money. But and a lot of studying that I've done over the last 6 years, rich people don't spend money on
No,
stuff
they
like
don't.
that. They
They
do
don't.
not.
They do not.
Mm-mm.
Maybe
They
their
save their
wives,
money.
but not
Maybe
the ones
once,
that's
yeah.
making it.
Not the ones
Not the ones
exactly,
that's
not the
making
ones
it.
working for it.
So your first year you did about 330 net profit about 50%. What did you do your second year after you started hiring your team?
So the second year we did about almost $400,000. So we
Nice.
did like an extra about, but I would say about 65, 70.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the closest that we've gotten was to hitting half a million was, I think we did like 420, not
Okay.
last year, the year prior. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the year that actually just finished, we had like a huge disruption. My partner left the business. I got sidetracked
Mhm.
and we still did a quarter of a million. So,
Okay. Nice. 'Cause I mean like bumps in the roads happen.
oh yeah,
Like
no, it did. I was
because life.
surprised. Yeah, I was surprised that we even did that well without me
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah. That's because a little bit that residual when you build it the right way. Year 2 and year 1, 2, half of a little bit of 3, I did business the complete wrong way. Like, thank goodness I was able to turn it before the pandemic came. Cause the pandemic, if I would not have turned things around, the pandemic would have just canceled me all out, which it did to a lot of cleaning business owners.
Mhm.
But no, once you start actually being able to apply those things when life do happen, because life is gonna happen, life be
Yeah.
life for everybody, you'll have some residual income. That's what I love about this business.
Yeah. I didn't think of it like that. So thank you for making it a positive
Yeah.
because I was like, because during that year, I knew I wasn't paying attention to my business. Like I actually despised it because of what was happening in my life at the time. And I shouldn't have felt like that. But even still, like giving zero effort, like literally saying F this, F everything, I don't care. Still being able to do still, 250 grand based on the business that we already had. And you're right, it was definitely a lifesaver because I don't know what I
Yeah.
would have done
Right.
otherwise. Yeah. I would
Yeah,
have been
that's
back to
awesome.
square one.
So you mentioned that you were started off with ads. So you already knew to do ads. What ads were you doing when you first started?
Sure. So, well, we built the website. Actually, so we built the website and we started running Google 2 sets of ads. We started running pay per click ads.
Okay.
which was the smart campaign. So it was a smart campaign, pay per click, because I learned how to do that. You can actually go on Google and get
Yeah.
certified. Yeah. So I was doing that. I was part of my research was doing the Google ad certification. So I was learning that. And then the local service leads for commercial
Okay.
accounts. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Are you guys still only doing those two things right now for marketing?
Yes, and right now they're actually we don't have any of that turned on at the moment, but when it
Okay.
does get a little bit slower, we can like forecast like, okay, the next 2 weeks or whatever, we'll turn it on. But
Awesome.
mostly we just do a lot of just posting to our Google My Business profile and sending
Nice.
out email and text campaigns from like past clients.
Nice. So you have been able to build a business that's now building itself out. That is
Hmm.
a really amazing because some other industries and some other business, like if you don't have a consistent outgoing of marketing and money being spent, like there's no money coming in. There's no new clients coming in.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's really awesome, especially with Google profile. I've been really teaching a lot on that because I'm sure you've seen ad cost has gone up
Oh, it's so
tremendously.
expensive. Yeah.
It's so expensive. Um, Thumbtack ads are higher, Yelp ads, Google pay per, PPC pay per click, Google locals, like all the ads are expensive. But I really wanted to teach people that if you can learn how to optimize your Google profile, even though the Google My Business with that big change, so you already had your account approved. I'm not sure if you know, but like the Google profiles, like they have this new video requirement
Oh, yes.
that makes everybody
People
do an
are,
actual video.
yeah, it's a problem.
It is a problem, and it's taking people months, and some of our students are, like, taking, like, 3 to 4 months just to, like, finally get it approved. I'm so glad, like, for those that stick with it and don't give up, but 3 to 4 months just to get it approved, but if you can handle it or handle with that frustration and actually get it approved, if you can optimize your Google profile and that map pack, every time somebody click there, they're not having to pay for that.
Exactly. I always say, like, just have more reviews than your competition and more photos and just adding to that profile like every couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. We have somebody that's actually teaching that in the class because even my knowledge of Google My Business, of what I thought like Google My Business actually was, before they made the change, was like pennies compared to what one of our like he was an actual student that gave me some tips, and I'm like, oh my god, you got to teach this to the community because I don't
Yeah.
know anything. And like you're saying, like continual posting, like using keywords and actually, doing that, because I didn't even know like there's a place for you to post, like you can just actually post directly on your Google profile, and all of that helps to bring in what's the word, I would say natural clients, but not natural,
Organic.
or thank you.
I'm with you.
Organic excuse me, organic clients, and that also helps with our ROI, especially for new business owners, not
Well,
having to
yeah, it's
spend out so
free.
much, right?
That's what I tell everybody, like, I'm like, listen, Google My Business is free. It's the most important profile that your
Yep,
business is ever gonna have.
most
More
important.
important than Facebook, Instagram. Like, I always tell 'em, like, teach this as, like, your number 1, like, post to this, put videos
Yeah,
to this, get reviews for this, like, the more that Google sees that you're active, the more they will put you on the top for the map, so,
yep,
that's always been something that, we've been, trying to take advantage of is a lot of the organic marketing because we didn't have a lot of money to start off with to throw
yeah.
into ads. We did have some, but it wasn't.
So how many locations do you guys currently have?
So we currently service currently service like the coastline of New York and New Jersey. So we are in Manhattan, New York. We're in Staten Island, New York. And then we're in 3 counties in New Jersey.
Nice. What's your guys' plan? What's your plan for growth?
So my our plan for growth this year is to focus a lot on the commercial side of the business because I've always been so I don't want to say busy, but the money on the residential side has always distracted me from trying to grow the commercial business. And I know
Uh,
now from years of experience that I should have nurtured those getting those commercial clients because they're so long term and it's
yeah,
consistent. and I know what I have to do. I just have to do it this year.
Yeah.
So I put a plan in, a marketing plan. We hired someone to cold call for us. So we're getting everything ready. Like we have our CRM that we just got prepared because I want to do it right this time.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we're following up with the clients like we need to because they take so much um, more nurturing
Nurturing.
those
Yeah.
relationships versus a
Yeah.
house, right? Houses, it's like one and done, or hey,
Right.
maybe I'll call you every couple months. But
Yep.
so we want to work on relationship building. So we're just getting our CRM together, our marketing together, and my goal for this year is to get to that 500,000 mark, with a majority of that being commercial work.
Okay. Nice. So are you planning to like leave residential on the wayside? Like just
No,
leave them?
I'll let it. I'm not gonna market it anymore. Like I
Okay.
won't do the any like paid ads, but
Okay.
if it comes, like we'll take it. Of course, we're not.
Okay.
I'll never say no. I'd have to be making a lot of money to say no.
Yeah.
But we're gonna take it because we're good at it. Like we have it figured out. I feel like we do. We have it figured out. But yeah, and then also part of that plan is we're working more with other cleaning companies.
Okay.
So we have been building our vendors list out for the last 8 months and
Nice.
just making connections within areas that we plan to service in. So
That's
whether that's
awesome.
residential or commercial. So we've been getting our spreadsheet together. And yeah, I know from working with some of my mentors and talking to business owners that if you want to scale, you have to collaborate. Like
Yeah.
it's a must. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, community is like definitely like the key word for this year. And I think when people can realize that you can make it so much better together, and not trying to be on this like this is mine, trying to
hmm
gatekeep information or like services, then I mean that was literally how I grew the CO Clean Academy. It's like I don't know everything. I know what I know, and I know what I know as well, but I don't know everything. So let me like tap into the people that know more than I do in other areas because we can all win from these community of individuals that all essentially need our services, right? I don't know commercial, but Carolyn is kills it in commercial and trying to expand commercial. So definitely don't ask me about no contracts. I'm gonna be like, go check out Carolyn because I have no idea. And then when people can understand that even on their business side with growing, I try to tell students to like collaborate with other service providers. Why
for
not
sure.
partner with a moving company? Because their clients are moving. We provide move out cleaning services, right? I mean, so many additional services we can partner with from lawn to exterior windows to carpet.
Yeah, carpets. I was just gonna say that anything that can be cleaned, you can
Right.
partner with people, sell as a service, and make 20% of what they're charging you. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely the year of collabing. I would say the same thing, like just learning how we can all make money together, even if it's just a little bit. Like one of my
Yeah.
mentors told me, he's like, look, would you rather have the whole pie or
Mhm.
would you rather just have a real tiny slice of everybody's pie? And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's true. He's like, yeah. He's like, look, you make a couple of dollars per hour per person in volume. It's huge. And I'm like,
Yeah.
right. So yeah.
Yeah. But that's that CEO mindset, right? That's the CEO mindset. I was talking to my husband about that one day, and I was just trying to tell him that some of my students that come from the solo cleaner side, right? They're the ones that may find us on YouTube and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm ready to like stop doing all the cleaning myself and build a business." But it's still so hard for them to stop servicing like their first loyal clients or to like to, transition them to another cleaner. And you can make a warm introduction or not. And we were talking about the difference of like a worker bee's mindset and then like the queen bee mindset. And or in business we'll say CEO mindset, right? Because there's levels to this, right?
hmm
CEO is the goal, delegating is the goal, but like when you try to think about that volume piece, right? Like, okay, yes, you can partner with one moving company, right? Yes, you're going to give them 25% for a lead that comes your way, but what about every lead that they bring your way? And then that's
Exactly.
just one company. How many different moving companies are in Dallas or just in your one areas? There's so many. So I think when we can adapt that mindset, that just a little bit from a lot of people, and versus thinking like, no, I don't want to deal with them. I want to get my own client. I get the whole 300. No,
Mhm.
right? Or even for the
Yeah.
solo cleaner, I don't want to partner and pay a cleaner to do this because I can get the whole 300 instead of giving them 150
Right.
and I take 150.
Yeah.
I remember when I first transitioned, that was my mindset. I was like, I'm still stuck in this bind. Like, I'm supposed to give, like, I can go do these cleanings, but I'm only limited to what I can do. I can only, like you said, I can only do 2 cleanings a day. And I was by myself. My
Mhm.
husband came, he will hold this and he'll be like, no, I helped you. I'm like, you drove me, okay?
You picked me
You
up.
walked my equipment in. All right. You may have taken the trash out, but I was on the floor cleaning the
You had
baseboard.
lunch ready.
Right, you went to go get lunch, okay? So I could only do 2 houses. So me transitioning to hiring my first cleaner, when I said Christine, it was very hard for me. And I was still cleaning with hiring her. So I'm like, I still want more. And he's like, yo, she's doing 2, you're doing 2. Hire another one, and then they can do your 2 too. And I'm like, okay, bet. So I hired another one, and I'm like, but I was still doing my like I can still collect.
You just like that extra cash. It is so hard. But believe me, I struggled. I did too. It's because we see the money that we can make,
Right.
but and so it was hard for me too, because like even at month 8, my mentor was telling me way before that, probably at like month 5, he's like, you gotta get out of it. The phone. I
Yeah.
I hear how you're talking to people, like, and so it is hard to kind of give up that extra cash, but something that he taught me early on was that the time that you get back,
Yep.
if you focus that on getting more business, not just like not doing anything, right? Not like, okay, I got 3 girls cleaning today, I'm gonna go watch
Right.
Netflix. Like, no, you can't do that. But once you have people, saving you time, then it's like, okay, let me take that exact amount of time and now let me go work on finding new clients. Like you said,
Yep.
networking, finding other businesses to network with, um, just getting your name out there so everybody knows that you own a company. Then yeah, then
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, wait, now I get it. I can sit home or wherever I am and make some phone calls and get us some more leads versus
Yeah.
cleaning. It is very hard transition, but I promise you, if you just do it, set a date for anybody that's listening, that's like having a hard time of giving up the cleans. Like even that one clean every weekend, I know it's $300, but or 150, whatever it is where you are. But that time you could be spent literally online doing something, posting about the business, making phone calls. Just set a date and do it and just say, okay, you know what? After February 1st, I'm no longer cleaning. That's it. If somebody cancels, or if like a cleaner cancels, try your best to reschedule the clean.
Yeah.
Don't go out and do it, because that was
Don't
my
do
other
it.
thing. I'd be like, damn it, I gotta get up.
Yeah.
But I planned on making this content and this, and then now you're 5 steps back.
Yep. Yeah.
For
No,
sure.
true. Like the thing that I kept on saying was like you can grow your business so much better when you're working on it versus in it. Cause I remember like being in the house and like trying to take calls, like, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yep.
I can be there tomorrow. Okay, okay. And then a client be like, huh, what'd you say? I'm like, oh, nothing, nothing.
Yep. Yep.
Right. Trying to sneak. And then I'll see how many calls or leads that I miss. I'd be like, I would be so upset. And then so like once I actually step out of it, now I'm able to follow up. I'm able to, answer calls right away, respond to leads right away. And now I'm actually making more money than those 2 cleans that I was, trying to
Right.
do versus actually putting the people in place. And I think it goes for me, it definitely goes a little bit more deeper. I had to get out of that poverty mindset. Maybe not even poverty mind, more like a money trauma. Cause it's like when you
Hmm.
come from a place of lack and you come from a place of struggle and you've been in those financial scenarios to where like you've had things taken away from I was cars repoed and home was we were evicted from and lost everything. I just had my youngest son. Now it's kind of like I need to make everything and keep everything and hold everything because just
Hmm.
in case that happens again, they're not gonna catch me slipping. Like,
Hmm. Yeah.
you're right. They're not gonna catch me slipping this time. I'm gonna have something to hold on to. But with my hands always closed, I can't receive anything. And trying to get over that was probably one of the toughest things. Probably even that it's maybe tiny bit struggle with even now to this day. So what would be like that mindset shift that you felt like you had to develop as you were growing your business?
Oh, so there was a couple. One of them, my biggest mindset shift was that I was capable of doing the things that I want to
Mm,
do. So I would listen to, and I still do. I bought them and like on my audiobook. I listen and I reread a lot of books. So I got heavy into listening to Bob Proctor.
yes, love him.
So yeah, so Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Mindset. So kind of just hyping my own self up because I
Yeah,
never really had anyone else do it for me other than my mentor. Um, and so just hyping my own self up, being like, you can do it, right? Like, so that was definitely one mindset of just be telling myself that I can. Number two was a shift in what I was doing with my free time. That was my biggest struggle.
mm.
That was my biggest struggle. I was at that time in my life, I had a friend group that was no good. And all the, and I can say that now, I know for a fact, because all they ever wanted to do was party and hang out,
Yeah,
and do all of this on the budget, by the way, like no money, but still go out and party and stuff like that.
yeah,
And there was really, so like I was like kind of sucked into that at that point in my life. And so saying, okay, I'm not gonna go out on the weekends anymore. I'm no longer watching Netflix. I'm only gonna watch stuff that is gonna help me grow as a person and grow as a business. So that was rough. I lost a lot of my friends, but really like I needed that to grow. So
yeah,
I'm good. Like I'm okay with that.
yeah,
But at first it was a struggle. Again, the whole Netflix thing. The drinking. So I had to give up drinking. Even though I only did it on the weekends, it was still no good for me.
yeah,
It was no good. So just those habit changes were difficult, but I would say with like over a year of just repeatedly doing them, it became natural. So like
yeah.
going on Instagram to post, not to look at stuff. Going on YouTube to watch something good, not something funny.
Mhm.
Like all of those kinds of things. And really just locking in. And like that was the hardest for me, but I did it and now I love it. Like I'm always teaching my kids, like if I see my kids scrolling and I'll like look over, I'm like a phone, like I'm the worst. I'm like, don't you have an exam on Saturday? I'm like, why are you not using the quiz? You know,
Yeah,
like so I'm
yep,
all about like just focusing on what's going to help me grow. I still have like time limits on my apps and stuff like till this day. So like I do
yeah.
get carried away sometimes, but I would say just being able to know that I could do things, and then getting rid of all the unhealthy habits that I knew I had to let go of if I wanted to be a better boss or better business owner.
I love that. I love that. There's this quote that I like to say to myself and that I teach my oldest son is how you do one thing is how you do all things. And I try to teach him that, like, yes, this is my focus, right? Yes, building my business is my focus, but I can't just turn it on here and expect for me to be completely different the moment I do this. While everything else that I do is non-productive, right? I'm not focused. I'm entertaining things that's not going to be conducive to my growth. But here I can focus. Like it doesn't work that way. If I'm thinking about that and wondering that, then my bad habits slip into this. And I think that's really good for a lot of people to hear that habits can be changed. Because some people think I love reading a book about the growth mindset. Because some people think that this is just who I am. These are my friends. I'm always
No.
gonna have them, right? Like this is what I do. I don't know how to focus. I need this and I need that. When you don't.
Mm-mm.
You could completely decide at this very moment right now as you're watching this video and decide to be somebody different.
Absolutely.
And some people are like, "Oh, that's not true." Yes,
Yes, you
it
can.
is. We're not saying it's easy. She literally said it was not easy, but years later she's saying that it's worth it,
Oh,
right?
it's so worth it. Yeah,
It's
for
so
sure.
worth it. And you could decide to be somebody different and change your habits and be somebody different and actually get the results that you want because we're trying to get these results that we want from broken habits and they're not going to be able to produce the desires that we really want. Like it literally can't produce, right? I was reading this book earlier and it was talking about cell rejuvenation, but it was saying that bad cells duplicate bad cells, good cells duplicate good cells, right? So we can only duplicate who we are. And then when we're building this business, it's only going to be duplicated with who we are. So if we have bad habits, then we're going to grow a business that also has bad habits, doesn't have any systems or SOPs or the right things in place. So I love that you are transparent enough to share that because some people think that they can't be who they can't be different or be the person that they actually strive and desire to be.
Yeah, and that's just a lie that we tell ourselves,
Yeah.
or maybe, like, we've been conditioned to believe that from people that maybe raised us or we were around when we were younger, but I'm definitely, like, proof that you can absolutely do anything that you put your mind to, and also, having a past or a bad background, whatever you wanna call it, like, I think it's natural to feel embarrassed about it, like, naturally, like, as a
Mhm.
person, like, when you did something bad, like, you don't wanna talk about it, you don't
Yeah.
highlight it, but it doesn't matter what you did, like, you can come back from that. Like, you can
Yeah.
absolutely come back from that. Like, people that knew me as a young teenager or even, like, a young adult, um, they'll, like, bring things up to me that, like, have happened in the past or that I was a part, and I'm not embarrassed anymore, but I'll just be like, "You know what? Let's not talk about that. Like, I don't wanna hear about that. Don't bring that up. Like, that's no longer me." And if that's all you have to talk about, like, while we're around, then, like, this conversation shouldn't be happening, you know?
Right.
Like, let's talk about the positive. So, like, I
Yeah.
would say no matter what you did, like, you can definitely change who you are, how you think, and what you do, but you do have to make the dedication to yourself and put the time in and just don't give up.
Yeah. No, I love that because there's nothing permanent. Nothing in this world is permanent. The only thing that's permanent is the consistent change of movement. But then you having to decide on which direction you're going to move in. I'm from an area to where I didn't grow up in a good area. I'm from Compton, California, and it's crazy because like when I go back home, everything is exactly the same. And the same people that I left there, they're still there on those
Yep.
same corners doing the same thing. My husband's from Oakland, California, and when we went back there a couple years ago, it actually is worse than what we left just a couple years ago. And uh they used to say this saying back home that we're a product of our environment, right? That will only become what we see. And ever since somebody told me that, I just hear it so clear that I can even hear their voice in my head. And I was like, I'm determined to like not be that. I'm determined
Mhm.
not to be a statistic. I'm determined not to be a product of my environment. I never thought that I would actually leave it though. My husband, we ended up moving out of state. I never thought I would move it because that's even the mindset. I just thought that
Mhm.
that's just home. That's where you'll always be. But hearing your story, I want people to know that it doesn't matter where you come from, what area you're from, what you were involved in, what background or past, you have the power to change and be who it is you want to be and start an amazing business, right? The power about this kind of industry and about this business, it doesn't care about the background. It
Mm-mm.
doesn't care about where you're from, what you did. They just want to know if you can provide the service. And I super, super love that for individuals because it opens it up to anybody. There's no limitations to anything.
Yep, and, like, I even tell, like, my kids that. I'm like, "You can literally do whatever you want, but you need to study it." Like, you have to study it, and you have to enjoy it, and, like, there's nothing better than making money doing something that you love, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing beats that. So, if
Nothing
that's
at all.
cutting hair, if that's starting a cleaning business, if that's, I don't know, babysitting dogs, like, whatever makes you happy, and the whole time I knew cleaning made me happy, but I never, like, took the moment to be like, "What really makes me?" Because if someone would have asked me, like, I would have thought that, but I wouldn't have probably said it. But,
Yeah.
like, making things look good and, like, providing a service for someone and making them happy, like, genuinely makes me happy. So, if you like your job and you can help somebody, like, you should totally go for it. You can start your own business.
Right. You can even start your own business. You
Yeah.
totally can with no experience. I didn't
Yeah.
have any experience like whatsoever. And we just were just some crazy girls. I decided to do it. And I love it. Look, y'all, I could sit here and talk all day. As you guys heard in
Seriously.
the beginning, like this is our first conversation. Like I know that
I
it sounds
know,
like we've
and
been
I'm gonna have
chatting.
you on my channel, Jasmine, for sure. I gotta have you on
Totally.
my podcast.
Totally, totally. Like I could live, and especially when you started talking about my dude Bob Proctor, rest in peace, okay? Because I am a like mindset development, like self-development junkie. Okay. Like it's on audiobook, it's on a podcast, it's on a YouTube. I'm just obsessed and addicted with bettering myself.
That's such a
And
great quality.
it is. And it's hard though, because I can fall back into bad habits. And like I really just really want people to know that like you have to will yourself to do that. It's not something that our normal DNA is not like work ethic, work, 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 work. Our normal DNA, believe it or not, is just to chill. Like we have to fight against the grain to become that. So even me saying that out loud, that's me, like, telling myself, like, "Yeah, Jasmine, you got this, girl. You are
Exactly.
addicted to bettering yourself." It sounds so good, but y'all, it's hard. It's totally hard. But if you can just leave us with, like, one tip, like, one thing that you could tell somebody that could help them, encourage them, inspire them, motivate them on their journey of launching their cleaning business, what would it be?
For sure. My advice or my nugget would be that you can absolutely hit a six-figure year
Mm,
within your first year of cleaning. I've proven that myself, and that was multi. So $100,000 seems like a lot of money,
yeah,
and to most of us it is, but it's not a hard goal to hit at all. You
yeah,
just kind of have to figure, okay, how many accounts or how many homes do you have to do to clean, and it can be done. It can absolutely be done. And like Jasmine, I know some of your teachings also, like you don't have to be the one cleaning.
nope,
Yeah, you don't even have to go through the struggle of learning how to clean like Jasmine and myself did, because we had, no other option. There's so many ways that you can grow this cleaning business within the first year. So it's completely possible. However, it is going to take your time and your dedication.
yeah,
So, like Jasmine said, she can hand it to you. She can tell you these are the steps to open a six-figure cleaning business. But unless you really make that decision that you're going to lock in and nothing else is going to matter, then you're not going to see the results that you want. Like this has to be your complete obsession. People have to get sick of hearing about your cleaning
yeah.
business. Like it has to be like it has to consume you, like, and it'll take a couple of months of getting used to, but then you're going to switch that business flip on, like
Yep.
that light switch, and that's when you're going to see the momentum. And it's not magic. The more that you market and sell your cleaning business, the more money that you're going to have. So just lock in, listen to what your mentors are telling you, listen, take other people's advice. Don't take it with a grain of salt, especially if it's coming from a good place. And yeah, just lock in and do it for sure. Because
Love it.
you can absolutely do it.
Love it. So true. Okay, so now tell us how they can find you and support you, and
Yeah, for
follow
sure.
you.
Thanks. So I do have a YouTube channel. My YouTube is at Carolyn Arellano. So that's my first and last name. I'm also active on Instagram at Carolyn CEO. And I also am getting active on TikTok. So it's at
Nice.
Carolyn CBM.
Awesome. I'm gonna
Yep.
follow you on TikTok. I'm trying to get on TikTok too. And this
Yeah, I'm so
TikTok is
I'm
growing
with you.
slow.
I'm
It's
with you,
growing
girl.
real slow.
I'm with you. I have my kids trying to help me. Like I'm trying to figure out how
'Cause I'm
TikTok.
not doing no dances. I ain't doing no
I'm not
dances,
doing
no
no dance.
pranks. Look here, y'all. I'm old. I ain't doing that stuff. Okay. So I'm gonna follow you and then you'll follow me back.
Okay,
And then
great.
everybody that's watching this, y'all, please follow both of us. Okay. On
Yes, we got to
TikTok.
get our TikTok
Because we
accounts
gotta
up
get
so we can
right. If
start
y'all want
going
us
live.
right. Y'all wanted to come on there and drop some nuggets and give y'all some information on live. Help us out. Help us out.
Exactly.
And then you also have a program.
Oh
Tell
yes,
us about
also
your program.
I do have a couple of online courses. You can find them at www.cleaningbusinessmentor.com. So yeah, I have a bunch of services that I can help you out with. We do web design, pamphlet design, we have VAs, so definitely go check that website out.
Awesome, love it. Well, thank you so so much for coming to meet with us on this last minute
No, thank
arrangement.
you.
I so appreciate all your patience because you're probably like, girl, this girl is tripping. Like, what is wrong
No,
with
no,
her?
not at all. I know how not at all. I know how busy things get. That's why I'm like I was like, "Oh," I'm totally understandable. So thank you.
Yeah.
But again, thank you for having me on the channel. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day. And I look forward to having you on my podcast as well.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely be there. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys make sure that you're following Caroline on all channels and TikTok, like for real, for real, for real. Um, and I will be back, you guys, with another video. Make sure that you guys stay updated with all the things of all the things. Until next time, stay blessed.
That was awesome. Thank
That
you.
was. I love how, like, natural it was, cause
Yeah.